Hello, everyone. So we are facing the Barbarians this weekend at the DHL Stadium, Cape Town. Round about 4 o'clock is kickoff time, so it is going to be epic. As you can see, it's very cold here in Cape Town. Got my little Springbok cap on, and it was just absolutely just phenomenal when I first heard. I was like, okay, Barbarians in Cape Town, by invitation only, this 28th of June, and it's literally days, like a week before we face off against the Italians in the starting of the yearly season for the Springboks. And what a what an absolute event this promises to be. Since I think it was like the first time in 1952 when the Springboks first met the Barbarians in a invitational game in Cardiff, I think it was. And out of the 8 games that we have faced off against the Barbarians, they've won 4, we've won 3, and drew 1. And who can forget that game? It was 31-all final score between the Springboks and the Barbarians. Still the days of Sergio Peterson, Patrick Lambie was still part of the Springboks back then. Still pretty, much of the lot of the veterans within the Springbok team right now that used to feature back then. I think it was Ibn Itzebet was already part of the team. So also was Malcolm Marks, Patrick Lambie, like I said. And a lot of the old faces that you will probably recognize if you go and watch the video on YouTube. They do have the highlights from that game. And who can forget Sergio Peterson, still back in the day with full beard and massive dreadlocks. And that specific one try that he scored, which was absolutely brilliant, running it from inside his half straight through, little dummy, getting a line break there going, and it was just all Sergio Peterson the whole way. And it was just absolutely fantastic to watch. But most of the games that as far as I can remember, was absolutely just rugby entertainment out of the top shelves. I think it was just specifically after the second World Cup. You had a 1995 World Cup, which we won, and I think shortly afterwards we played another. Just shortly after the second World Cup since 1995. I think it was it's like 1998, around about there. Still the days of Percy Montgomery, and pretty much, still Chester Williams, and of course our very own Braden Polser here from Cape Town that managed to get that brilliant try down with a long pass to the wing, and very open as he received the ball, just could charge through and quite easily get the ball down there. And it was just the memories flooding back from that time. He's just making absolutely Springbok legend. So what's going to happen this weekend? Are we going to see the Springboks managing to equalize? Because you look at the play makeup of the Barbarians this time around. We do have we have Peter O'Mahony. That's part of the team. There's a lot of changes that's happened obviously since then and back here, and still in the amateur era the Barbarians won 2, we won 2. Then in the professional era, then the Barbarians won 2, we only won 1 and drew 1. So we'd be absolutely interested to be looking at the final kind of equalizer here this time around, and to do it on home soil will be absolutely history in the making, considering this is the first time ever the Barbarians will be playing the Springboks and it's featured on home soil. So I think the one with the Braden Polser try, that was at Wembley Stadium. I'm not sure But the very first game we ever played against them, 1952, was on the Cardiff Arms pitch. I think that's in Wales, I believe. So definitely something to look forward to. This is one for the history books. We don't want to miss this one. So mark your calendars. 4 o'clock, 20th of June, this Saturday coming. Of course, we'll be watching with bated breath, and I'll bring you guys the full breakdown of the match next week. So yeah, but give your little, you kind of your thoughts in the comments field, and who do you think is going to win? What is your predictions for this game around? The URC finals, I flatlined completely with the score prediction there, but I do think we probably stand a good chance of maybe making it here. I think the last victory we had over them was a 42-31 victory to the Springboks, which again was just one of the games out of the top shelves of World Rugby. It's just some games are just stand out on the legend level that we all kind of see and pursue in our lives, and the ones that just keeps bringing back, for the memory banks. Definitely out of the top games, the 1995 World Cup victory. We're talking about the Barbarian game with the 31-all draw, nail-biting, absolutely. It was just a seesaw matchup between the two. Tries by both teams being fought for hammer, tooth and nail. And then obviously there's some of the more fantastic victories we had over the Barbarians as well as the British and Irish Lions tour of 2020 of South Africa. We won the series, but with that horrendous match with the referee Nick Berry, I don't think he's ever going to live that one down. But we still managed to clinch the 3-game victory, the 3 out of 2. Yeah, the 2 out of 3 game victory over the British and Irish Lions, with Cheslin Kolbe, I think probably cementing his name in the history books as a true legend of World Rugby, and especially with the green and gold jersey on. He already made himself a pretty powerful name within that 2019 World Cup. But I think pretty much, his whole career within South African rugby and in world rugby as well is very much cast in stone. This is a young lad who started off with the Western Province, then went to Stormers, was overlooked for the national team several times because of his size, and then as soon as Rassie came in, basically recruited him, went to the World Cup in 2019. South Africa came out tops in that one. Honestly, Cheslin Kolbe giving us the true evidence of what makes him an absolute world-class player, convincing everybody. At this point, no doubts left of his masterful rugby performance. Going on to 2023, coming back from playing in Toulouse and Toulon as well, pretty much making a name for himself overseas there as well, and using it to absolute effective, effectiveness, as well, from his experience with the French team in the 2023 World Cup, charging down that goal kick by Pinot was absolutely just. I don't think anybody will ever forget that. It's just, those kind of moments in world rugby and South African Springbok rugby that is just burned into your memory and forever will be there, which just earned him the title of the absolute legend in my book. And Player of the Year, I believe it was. But definitely South African Springbok Hall of Famer. But just not just not Cheslin Colby. I mean, we had such wonderful talent. Brayton Paulser with his try that year, he against the Barbarians, he became Player of the Year as well. He was already nominated as Player of the Year and received the title. But that was just absolutely, again, one of those memories just burnt into your mind for all time. It's just, I'm so excited because this has been a saga that's been in the making for so many years. Such a long period. 8 meetings between these two teams. It was just an absolute wonder and privilege to behold these talents going at it in no holds barred match that is just one for the history books every single time. It kind of comes close to the professional rivalry between the Springboks and the All Blacks that has also been etched into time. I mean, the first time Springboks faced off against the All Blacks professionally, not professionally, amateur. There was the amateur era back then, but still, I think it was the very first game in Dunedin, Auckland, where we faced off against the All Blacks. It was a draw, 0-0 draw in that game. It was just, but it was also the first time when the All Blacks performed their legendary haka on home soil. And it was also the first time when the Springboks reciprocated with Ndlamu, a Zulu war dance, to honor the rivalry with the All Blacks themselves. And it is almost a piece of history that's lost almost to the pages. It's never been recorded really in South African or maybe overseas history. I don't know if it was recorded within the history books in New Zealand, but definitely not here in South Africa. I think the apartheid regime just would love to forget about that era, although the leadership at that time would have loved to have forgotten about that era, because as soon as the apartheid regime dropped, the Ndlamu was banned from the South African rugby, just along with the Maori players that was disallowed from playing on South African home soil. So, which saw obviously the All Blacks refusing to perform their haka, whenever they made a tour to South Africa at that time. But times have changed for the better, and rugby has been the great equalizer and the great unifier of our nation. And I think I'm pretty proud to say that it's done that around the world. It's been a unifier for nations all over. As far as, rugby's been known and been played in the world, it's been a great unifier for nations. I'd hazard to say more than soccer or football has been. I know a lot of football fans is probably going to crucify me for that one, but that's my opinion. Take it or leave it. But especially for South Africa, it's done more for South Africa than any politician has ever could. For the unity within our nation, it's done more for the unity of this nation than any musician could. I'm talking about Mendoza, going absolutely, world famous with his famous song, and then obviously the Oh, the 2010 Soccer World Cup wasn't really that much of a unifier, I don't feel. Obviously, there was unity amongst football fans within South Africa, but when you look at rugby over the past few decades, especially the first South African captain of colour, Siya Kolisi, coming in, giving us the 2019 World Cup victory, giving us the 2023 World Cup victory. I've never seen the nation united as we have been behind the Springboks. It's from 1995 straight up to 2023, and it's probably going to do so again in 2027. So yeah, this is the breath, the heartbeat of South Africa is rugby. Our blood is green and gold. And I'm proud to be a part of that nation. Absolutely cannot wait for this Barbarian matchup to start. By even the Invitational, 28th of June, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Set those dials. I'll be right with you guys watching it, and then obviously delivering my takes and analysis the coming week after that. And I hope you guys will join me next week for that one as well. So yeah, that's it from me. Not a very long video, and I hope to see you guys next week from a very cold Cape Town. Please take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and please remember to give me a like and subscribe at the bottom of this video, and leave me a little comment. I always love to hear from you guys. And yeah, whenever we have a bit of a lively debate, we don't always have to see eye to eye on our opinions, but you know what, if we can keep it respectful, that will be absolutely super. And with that, I bid you all farewell. Thank you very much for joining me this time around. Peace out.